Amazing. You've got to prepare your space. And then to support yourself for the message that is going to come. And then adjust yourself and prepare to share an important message. My name is Laura J. I am a Canadian empowerment coach with an alternative approach, here to help soulful seekers and conscious co-creators call themselves home to their heart center, the one behind the heart chakra, which is actually where the soul sits. Or is it in the mind, the threefold part of our being, body, mind, spirit, which ultimately makes it all go round, not forgetting the energetic component of all things, which make up for the literal, symbolic, mythic, and energetic perspectives that we must have of the moment at all times. Because if we develop eyes to see the lies ahead of time, the lies become obvious when once they may have felt oblivious. We may have been oblivious to them. They may have seemed oblivious to us. And yet, once we have eyes to see it, it's there for us to share with each other because we care about each other. And that is what so many have forgotten. We have become isolated creatures that are social by nature, and yet we're being kept safely separate. It's a strategy and deploy to make sure that we don't remember the power we have when we gather together in the name of justice, in the name of love, in the name of maintaining our rights and freedoms as human beings who are sovereign, and we have forgot. We have given away our power freely to those who would gladly accept and receive it. Take it from us and then tell us that it was theirs the whole time. I just read a story this morning with a moral different from the story itself, but the story was so good because it was this woman who had a 500 peso bill in her hand as she was juggling her groceries, trying to get home to feed her family. And because of all of the masks and procedures and protocols, she had kept her distance safely separate. Except during all of the commotion and chaos of moving, she had dropped her bill, and the man in front of her, who was just completing his order, picked up that bill, and just as she was about to proclaim, "Thank you very much," he said, "What's on the floor is whoever finds it," and walked away with her money. And she was just blown away that this was even possible. And now she had a handful of groceries she couldn't pay for because he had just walked away with her money. And so she followed him out, and then actually several of the other people who were behind her followed too to see what was about to happen. And basically he got to his vehicle and put his groceries down in order to get in, and she brazenly went over and grabbed those groceries and said, "Whatever is on the floor is whoever finds it," and ran away, and basically got home and found there was far more in those bags than what she had money to pay for. And all of it was a moral to get people to read the whole story, because reading stimulates the brain, because it does, which is a really good moral. But in that, too, it was just the fact that when you steal from someone, you get stolen from that much more. And right now, we are at a point in history where we are stealing from our children their rights. We are stripping them from a history of empowerment, that we are the only ones that can stand up and say, "No way, we will not surrender our freedom so easily." We have a constitutional right to freedom of speech. We have the ability to be ourselves because we are considered human beings, which have no ability to be patented until we can be if they change the RNA within the DNA, just like they did with the seeds that now Monsanto owns all of. and they're self-killing. So they are good for a season or two and then it's shut down. They don't come back online because they were told not to by their creator, which was by man, who wants to now design a vaccine to go inside of us. To say the name even feels blasphemous. And yet it's the culture that we have been raised within, which is the cult you are at the end of the day. And yet we say, no, no, no. A cult is a group of crazy people who come together in a common goal towards some crazy outcome that is not going to benefit society, which is why they had to leave in the first place. Well, my friends, what if society itself, the culture, the mainstream one that we have all been influenced and propagated to, of a dominant narrative that ultimately does not serve us, but that serves the system that's designed to save itself and create further sustaining capabilities, such as patenting us, the ones who could become the slaves. No, but it will not be us. It will be the ones that come from us, through us, the children. Children are the closest that we have to God here on this planet, which is why their souls are being traumatized by the very socializing systems that we have been trained to believe are good for them and us too. And now we have to say we have discovered otherwise, and we are willing to exercise our power to understand that even in an abusive parent-child relationship, in a child who is abused on all levels, those parents often are still the gods of that child's universe. And we are living in a culture of abusive parenting with the very social system that all of the subsequent ones, including the family, the nuclear family, and the extended family, are founded underneath of, the umbrella of. We have to understand the toxicity at the top that trickles down and then contaminates the lot. That's a lot. So just breathe deep, smile, integrate, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, come back for more later when you may have had a different opportunity to hear the information because you have climbed the spiral staircase of awareness that takes you higher into a perspective where you can see the power plays at foot from a higher level. Work with what you've got. Stretch it too, because the comfort zone is inside of the growth zone. And outside of the growth zone is the panic zone, where we freak out because we've never been this far and we don't think that we can do it, and we completely doubt ourselves and our humanity because no one's ever done this before, and how could we possibly be the first ones to do it? And then outside of that, wow, that's what's there. There are no words to declare how glorious it is to be in bliss, peace, harmony, grace, love, surrender. Breathe it in as we let it go and ride that wave. Let it flow. That's why the traffic comes just now, to say we are on to the next aspect of what we came here to learn. So together we say, Namaste. The rest is for another day. Laura J. The peace in me salutes the peace in you, to know there is nothing to be said, only things to be done, and to become more of who we were the whole time, lifting off those veils. I was going to say something along the lines of, peel well, my friends. Just don't peel the skin, but take off those layers and understand that sometimes those expectations will feel like paper mache, where we will think that they were the skin that was just plastered on top of what was originally there. So, bye. find the statue within the clay that is you, my friend. That's all I got to say. Laura J. Namaste.